Feel incredible!
It's not a cartoon, it's anime!
Jesus Christ, all I got is screaming in my ear.
Welcome to another episode of Animeshun. The squad is back, man. It's what we do every goddamn week. We are back. Myself, Brennan, Rob, Ice. It's what we do, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. I forgot what I was about to say, but I just remember what I'm about to say. What we do is we review anime out here in these streets, man. We review animes, do debates, do one-offs. We review movies. We talk shit about anime if it's bad. If it ain't good, it's gonna get that thumb down or that bad rating from us. So
regardless of who picks it.
Regardless of who picks it, including the fans, including us. It doesn't matter. That anybody can get this smoke and this work.
I like to just take a moment and point out, if you're on the YouTube channel right now, that Rob is rocking a really dope shirt at the moment. He's just
got Brennan's face on it.
It's hilarious. But it's funny, we're all wearing like branded shirts. Keenan's wearing his brand. I'm wearing the Tony Baker, the bakery shirt. And what is that? You got a Kira shirt on over there, Ice?
Yeah.
Yeah, we out here killing the fashion game today, guys. Everybody, good job.
What is Overstood? What is that?
Overstood is a partial brand of the YouTube channel that I have. It's called Droner Tech. And it's pretty much me talking about like business advice and all that, because I'm an entrepreneur and all that. So I did a short little series talking about that kind of stuff.
If you may know, I'm an entrepreneur.
I am. That's what I do. That's how I make my living.
I know.
He loves making deals.
I make the deals, bruh. So what are we talking about today? We're talking about Blades of the Immortal.
Episodes 9 through 12.
Oh, God. Why do you always wait to interrupt us to do this? Why can't you just do it?
Because I be just trying to find my moment. I be letting Keenan talk, and then I be letting you talk. So I just want everybody to get their words out first, and then I move forward. But all I wanted to say was that we are the greatest fucking anime podcast in the entire world. That's all I want to say. That's all.
Could be.
The greatest in the entire world. The greatest in the fucking entire world. That's it. That's all. I just want to say it again when he put his headphones on.
Yeah, I figured that.
I feel like the confidence kind of dwindling at times when he says it. It's hilarious. We're reviewing. Reviewing Blades of Immortal episodes, and this is the 2019 version that came out last year, not the older version. Episodes 9 through 12. So if you haven't watched the first 8. We reviewed those on the podcast already, so make sure you go back and view those, see our opinions on those. And 9 through 12, Rob, let's get it cracking.
Yeah.
Did you watch the other episodes, Keenan?
Did you?
No, I was good because I didn't want to. You're not gonna believe me when I say this, but I didn't want to fully spoil it.
No way.
So I was like, I was gonna wait till probably around when I'm close to when we get to that last 4, just watch it all. And then, so I'll be able to give my whole review on that, fresh in my mind from both, on that last episode.
That'd be cool.
Your eyes are going to be looking like Michael Jordan's eyes by the time you get done watching all those episodes.
It's only 13. It's only. I'm not gonna binge watch the 13 and then the 4. I'm probably gonna around in that week probably start breaking it down to 3s or 4s or so.
Oh,
yeah.
I was about to say you about to be
no.
dry, red eyes.
Yeah, Michael Jordan got them pissy eyes, boy, because he's too focused. Is that what focus looks like? Fuck it, man. Too much. He got them Gatorade eyes. Fuck that.
Oh, fuck. His eyes need some Gatorade. Fuck. You dehydrated?
Yeah. Need some of that dry red eye, clear eyes. For sure.
Clear eyes.
So episode 9 starts back up. The end of the last episode, Manji and Rin are kind of found at the scene of all that dude's murder that he had just laid on a bunch of people. And so people like, it was that GTA thing. Like they got like, 4 stars for him right now. Like, they got a lot of heat on him right now. So Manji's kind of just telling Rin like, listen, you got to leave town because we miss Kagehisa. He's out of here. But I'm not gonna be able to get through the gate because everybody thinks I did all that killing. So, there's the only way to get through the gate is really kind of if you go on your own. So she heads off on her own right from there, and she meets up with the Morpheus dude from the team they've been working with. And doesn't really seem to mention much about what happened with the guy that they had been working with, the dude with the sun kimono. But he's like, well, listen, we all kind of got split up by trying to follow these different prostitutes that we all thought were Kagehisa. But I did find out where he's headed. So this is where he's going. So she heads off on her own to go find out where he's headed to go get her revenge on Kagehisa when she comes across a wanted poster, and it's not just Manji's face on it, it's her face too. And she immediately panics.
Somebody drew it. That's funny, this water picture, just like somebody like, all right, we need you to hand. Where did they hand draw this picture? And how did they know to get it? They got that pretty accurate.
It was pretty good.
They had like the rings in the hair, like that's a distinct feature, So she's panicking. What were you gonna say, Ice?
Oh, I was just like, that's just like the sketch artist. I remember they had like a clip of the sketch artist, and then the newscaster looked just like the person that was wanted. Yeah, I think that's like that shit is hilarious.
Yeah, it was great.
But so she's freaked out. So she goes back to the woman that she had met with a couple episodes before. This woman that kind of owns like a restaurant, and giving her some information about the guards and the gates, and it's just like, listen, if I'm going to I have to get through this gate, but now I'm a known criminal, or my face is out there, how do I sneak through? And the woman is kind of reluctant to tell her, but she's like, listen, I know a guy. You can go out to this inn a little bit outside of town, and there's this couple there, and that's where Rin heads. And we kind of see her as she's introducing herself as like, hey, like I heard about you guys through our mutual friend, and she said that you might be able to help me get through this gate. You might be able to help me sneak through. And the guy's immediately like, shit, like I was hoping you were just like a regular customer. Like you came too late. Like we're out. We don't do that kind of stuff anymore.
We out the game, baby. We're retired.
That's it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to leave. They on the ghost us.
The Mike Jordan of helping people cross the border.
Yeah, they're done, and she's just like, well, listen, I can pay you. She like takes out all this money. He's like, it's not the money. It's not like any of that. We got caught 3 years ago. Like we're known for helping people through this, and we wanted to help this other girl, this other prostitute who came to us, and she had a sob story too, and we wanted to help her, and we got caught. She got killed. They made us watch, and like our business has been fucked since then. So
cut her head off in front of them.
Yeah. And it's not worth it. And she's like, well, I'm already wanted like for death. Like they're going to kill me anyway. So I may as well go. And they're kind of just like, listen, like, no, we don't want it. Just like stay here the night and you can kind of go on your way.
Yeah.
So she's bathing that night, and, as she's bathing and just, kind of resting after being on the road, the woman of the couple comes to her and is talking to her through the door, and is just like, do you really want to do this? Like, are you really committed to this? And she's like, yeah, I'm trying to get revenge for my parents. She asked her to give it up, and she's like, I'm not going to give it up. This is my entire reason for living. And the wife is kind of like, well, how far, like, are you willing to take this? And she's like, there's no place I won't go. And so she immediately opens up the door, grabs a knife, and we kind of cut away from that. And we're kind of left to imagine what the hell happened. But the next morning, the wife approaches her husband and is like, listen, she's ready. You should take her. I'm going to stay here. So the husband takes her to the gate and immediately like runs into some people he knows. He's just like, hey, like, what's up, everybody? Like, good to see you. They've got these dudes like, posted up at the gate, and he's just like, hey, I'm just trying to get out of town. I've got my, my wife's little sister with me. She doesn't have a pass though. Like, do you think you could give her a pass? And and they're immediately suspicious. And he's just like, do you think I'm gonna, try to do that again? Caught 3 years ago? That'd be crazy. Like,
what I loved about this moment is this was my favorite episode of the 4. I'm going to just put it out there. But what I actually liked about this moment is what they had told us earlier on about these guards is that these guys were doing this for generations. And they did a lot of cuts in the edit here that actually was good of showing like my man sweating and covering his sweat, his eye twitching. And then the guy at the guard is noticing all of it. So he's like, oh, I'm going to take this all the way to 10. And I just love that happened.
But before that, too, they got through those first guards easy. She was like, oh, this is going to be a breeze. He was like, oh, no. That wasn't shit right there.
Those aren't the people.
They was supposed to let us through. Breeze. Yeah, she was, exactly. Nah, Davis. Breeze. And she was like, no, we got the real gatekeepers in a second. And they pull them into a room. And they're not playing no fucking games.
No. They're like, you listen, we're not going to give the whole inspection, but if you can answer like 3 questions, we can let you through. Because he's immediately like, you don't like look like her at all, So
like sister, yeah, because it was a smart thing. He was kind of like, well, sisters don't always look alike, so and they're like, okay, touche.
He said legally, does she have to look like her sister kind of thing?
He's like,
no.
Nah, you're right, cool, all right.
He's like, that's fine, but the guy immediately like comes back with the next one, just like, hey, so I just want to ask you a few questions. Shouldn't be any problem if you're really who you say you are. And starts asking him about like, so like your brother-in-law, like what's going on with the family restaurant I see here, like who's running that these days? And she's just like. And she immediately knows it all. Like she just runs through. It's just like, oh yeah, my dad used to run it, but now he doesn't. Now it's my brother-in-law because my cousin, this, that, and the other. And she gives him the full rundown. The guy seems to be impressed by that, but immediately follows that up. So like, all right, so you're gonna go like. You're out there, you're going to go on this journey. So why don't you go with your parents? Like, why are you going with your brother-in-law? Like, what's all that about? And, she kind of gets quiet and, the guy knew exactly what answer to expect, or at least what the correct response was going to be. And the Rin smartly is, playing it up. She starts like kind of like, how dare you ask me that question kind of thing? Like, but I'll get into it if you want. And like starts explaining this whole backstory of how this woman had been on the road with her parents, like the same area, like years before when they get caught in the middle of the storm. Yep. And she's like, well, go ahead.
Just real quickly, these cutscenes to mess with this story for her to bring out the emotion. That's like that to me. I thought that was like pretty dope because she has to take it to 10 because the motherfucker next to her. He's trying to give it up. He's pretty much trying to be like, hey, this ain't right. I'm sorry, y'all. He ain't even trying no more, man. This motherfucker is literally just saying, look at my face. I'm lying to you.
Yes.
And, and his poker face is trash. He'd be a dead man. But her?
She handled like a boss.
Yeah, she took some method acting classes or something like that. Because when it comes time for the tears, and she's getting into the sad part of the story, she's pulling on her own experience to like bring that emotion out. And she's talking about like how apparently this guy's wife's parents died, years ago with the actual little sister while she was pregnant, out on the road as they were caught in this huge rainstorm and they were trying to get across this waterway. She slipped on some rocks and started to get taken away. And everybody it was all hands in. Everybody jumps in and is trying to save this woman, and they eventually get her out, but the parents get taken under the water and don't wash up until like days later, and they're dead. And Rin gives this Oscar-worthy performance. She's sobbing, blah blah blah.
Meryl Streep, nigga. This is Meryl Streep right here, dog.
Yeah, she did go to 10, and the guy's like, oh, like listen, I'm so sorry, I had to like bring that up. I had to make sure, and it seems like everything's gonna be cool. And he's just like, but it's like right as they're about to leave, he's just like, one more thing. Like, so if you were pregnant at that time, you must have been pretty young. Like you were for like 14, something like that. And she was like, yeah, no, that's how old I was. He's like, interesting. Like she'd be pretty small. Like for somebody that size or that young to be carrying a baby probably would be pretty tough. You would have a tough labor. So like that you would have scars from that. And immediately it's just like, go get the inspection lady, get her ready because we're going to go bring this woman in the other room and make sure she's exactly who she says she is because she got the scars that she's supposed to have.
Yeah.
And what's funny? I'm not going to lie to you. At this point, I thought somehow Manji cut through the front guards, was going to come through and like slice somebody up, but like, let's just go, come on, and just grab her. And they were just going to go. But no, that's not what happened, man.
No, before they get taken to the next room, she's just like, no, fuck it. I'll show you right here. If that's what you want to do, if that's the kind of guy you are, like tries, really just going all out and it's just like, I'll show you right here. And just immediately, Go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt again, but like I was just really thinking too. I was like, all right, she's gonna show scars easily because she's been beat the fuck up since episode 1. So
yeah, Manji's been.
yeah, both of them, and then we don't know still the full because she always flashes back to the original story,
Right.
and I always feel like they're kind of adding some stuff here and there. So I was like, maybe she's gonna add a point where she had an abortion at some point or something like that, but not that either.
Nope.
No, she opens it up and shows that she has what looks like basically a C-section scar, just like kind of right up her stomach. And
the way
guy's
she revealed that shit I was cracking up. Like, I was dying laughing because I just
She was heated. She was like,
"Are you bitches?" Like, I was like, "Yeah, damn, all right."
but she had to make it that emotional because it was just like it made sense. She took it. She didn't break character one time, not one time. And this is
And when your life on the line, you got to.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's true. But I mean, for me, I gained a lot of respect for her as a character in this episode right here. Just me personally, I thought this gave her something of worth. I know everybody in here kind of like, well, she doesn't mean anything. This shit, I don't give a fuck about her. At this point, I was like, all right, I'm with her on this.
Yeah, this is easily like her moment to shine. Like she comes through here with flying colors. Like she fucking nailed this.
She did.
And which is exactly what the guy says when she comes out. Like, holy shit, I thought we were caught. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? Like, I didn't know.
No thanks to you, little bitch.
Yeah,
Exactly. And
And
the
she-
Oscar goes to
right.
Ren.
And that's when they reveal that the night before what the wife had done was basically, if you're going to play my sister, like you got to know everything about her and like ran her through the story. Like you have to memorize this tonight. This is your life now. Like they hand the spy the backstory of just like, you got to become this person.
Yeah.
And to go even further, to give her that physical scar, she used one of Rin's knives to like basically cut up her stomach. Just like, if you really want this, you'll put up with this pain because this is what you got to do to get there.
You had to scar yourself for life because a scar like that, even I don't know how necessarily deep it was, but regardless how deep it was, that type of scar is going to scar her for life.
Easily.
And on top of that too, I wonder if they was like that scar is too fresh. Because if you had a C-section, I don't think that scar would be as fresh as it was. Like,
No, I don't.
like that's a 24-hour scar right there. Like that
They
had
did
to be-
mention something about she was like, well, that's why I had to like just like take it off there because if they took me in the back room and really took a look at it,
It was fresh.
Oh, yeah.
it wouldn't have held up under scrutiny. But she's like, if I can just kind of like go big and they'll just be like, whoa, okay, like you know.
Yeah.
So she kind of caught him off guard
What
with
if they
it.
were like, all right, hold your horses. Get up in here still.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
But I mean, she'd be like, well, whatever. I mean, she'd probably try to throw her little ninja things like, help me, my little bees. And then she would die.
yeah, glittery bugs.
Yeah.
Or she'd be like,
Pocket sand.
whatever you want,
Yeah.
whatever you want to give, you can take it. I just take it. I want to live. Like that's always her default at the end of the day.
Just get to the next thing to try and get this revenge to happen. But so she gets through, she gets her pass, she's on her way to get her revenge. And when she sits down to get her next lunch after, you know, saying goodbye to the guy that helped her get through, there's a little note in there for her, and he's just like, listen, like, happy to help you. I can't take your money knowing where you're going and basically what you're doing. And he gives some of the money back to her, and it's an emotional moment for her that she finally got somebody else that just, you know, helped her out of the goodness of their own hearts. But yeah, that was a great episode for Rin. But we kind of shift away from her for the next episode and go back to Manji, who must have showed up at that same, you know, meets up with their teammates. I guess maybe a little bit after Rin had already left. And he explains to them like, hey, listen, things went down with your buddy Shira. Like, we aren't going to be able to team up. Like, if he shows, I didn't kill him. And if he shows back up, he's probably not going to be too happy with me.
Yeah, and pretty much too. Like, how the fuck y'all fuck with a dude like this, knowing
Right.
he's like this? And it kind of like, hey man, we
Right.
didn't really do a screening process. Like, put together a team, and we're figuring out he's a piece of shit now. But beating people boar's head, or dog heads, but dogs and shit
And I
like
think
that.
that's
But
crazy
Yeah.
too. That like, if you think about the military, people in the military go through that shit too. Like, you got somebody in your squadron, your platoon, and y'all just doing y'all job, and then next thing you know, this motherfucker just out here doing outlandish shit, and you like,
Yeah.
what the fuck, man? And then it's like, but they a part of your company, so you can't do anything but maybe report them when you get back. But even then, it's like, you know,
I forgot that movie with, I forgot what it's called. Casualties of War, I think. It was a movie with Sean Penn, and he was kind of like this fucking evil dude, like trying to like rape like Vietnam women and stuff like that, Vietnamese women and something like that. And I was just like, this dude is wild the fuck out. I think it was Michael J. Fox that was in there that was trying to like stop it.
Oh,
but it was like, it was a good ass movie. But it's that's exactly like, it's like you don't know who you're around. These people come from whether it's racist backgrounds, poor, rich, whatever the case may be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They want to kill. They out there to kill. Like some people, it's not a job. I know people had that running joke. Like they not trying to get a free Camaro. Like they trying to be out here they want to kill people. Like that's it. And they want to do destructive shit and get away with it.
Just want to see the world burn. Oh, go ahead. What?
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah.
That's
I mean,
real.
it's for real, because they're just like hitmen. For the most of them, it seems like they have a price like they're trying to work off or something on them, and who knows where Shearer comes from. Like you said, he's just somebody they got for the team. But it kind of reminded me even when we had that one-off episode with Kagehisa's past. And the one-armed dude is just like, or his buddy with like the heads sewed on his shoulders, just like, hey, if you want to go down this path, you're going to attract like some bad people. Like, are you willing to associate with them? Like, are you willing to try to lead those kind of people? Because that's who's going to show up to this kind of school that you want to open up. And, it's a similar situation. If you travel in these circles, you're going to meet some unsavory people. It's just going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what they tell him. They're just like, you probably should have killed that dude. Like, I don't know why you let him live. Like, that's probably a problem. But they did tell him also that, they gave the location of Kagehisa where he's going to Rin, and she's headed off on her own. So Manji at this point, he's a wanted man. He's stuck in the city. He can't go after Kagehisa, and he's walking around town. And all of a sudden, he just bumps into the artist dude from the first stretch of episodes we watched, episode 2 or 3. And he's just like, oh, like, hey, good to see you again. And the artist is like, yo, where's Rin? Like, what's going on? He's like, oh, she left. She was the only one that could get a pass. I'm wanted right now. I couldn't get one. And the artist guy's like, oh, you need a pass, like.
Got plenty of those, fam. What you
Bruh, that moment, I was just like, this show, like that was kind of funny, but at the same time, it's like,
that was petty.
He was there. Not only was he already there, he was in the city. They know each other. They're cool, and it's just like he's the most connected person they've met that has good faith towards them. And you wouldn't think to ask the motherfucker, like,
right?
Yeah,
I about that, huh, Brennan?
I had a similar
type of way.
I had a similar thought.
You didn't ask the motherfucker.
But so he's just like, yeah, and I can get you a pass if you want a pass. But before they can settle on that, he notices also in this guy's company is Taito, the guy with the spiky hair that they had met up with, the ninja dude who's
he's the guy that we liked, right?
One of the guys that we liked. And they're immediately just like, oh shit, and like go for their swords, but the artist is kind of like peacemaker here, like, whoa, like, hey, I know both of you are cool, like we can settle this in a civilized way. But he kind of says like, yeah, this guy Taito, he's been hanging around with me, he's looking for somebody. Maybe you know something about it. Like he kind of says something like, it would be boring if I just gave you the pass for free. If you can help us out, and I can give you the pass. And Manji's just like, yeah, all right, I'll take a look. And they show him the paper, and they show he sees the sun symbol, and he's just like, oh yeah, I know this dude. I know exactly who we're talking about.
Shit.
For sure. And speak of the devil, cutting back to what's going on with their old teammates. The girl with the bleach blonde hair is like eating lunch with another guy that I didn't really recognize from the team. Did you guys remember this guy at all? Or
no,
was he
the young guy?
just...
No, I didn't remember him. I didn't remember him at all.
I remember him. The young guy that she was eating with. That's the dude that was with her when she came out with poison. And he's like, oh, she
was throwing up.
You were able to take poison. That was him.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I thought that was Shearer at the time. My bad. Well, so there is this other guy that that is part of the team, and they're having lunch, and they're kind of waxing poetic about what they're going to do once they finally get free of this job. Apparently, they both owe like 100 Rio to whoever got them out of whatever sticky situation they were in, and they're paying it off by being hitmen essentially. And the guy he's got feelings for the girl, and he's kind of just like maybe in a few years when we're free we could maybe start a family or something like that. And she says something along the lines of like, "Oh, gross," like "ew," and he's like totally embarrassed, just like, "Oh shit, I didn't mean it. I'm sorry, I didn't."
Full
That was
backpedal.
just a stupid
Hey,
dream.
yo, I have a question. I have a question about this moment. Have you guys ever done that before? Like open up to somebody you're interested in, like a girl you're interested in, and then had the backpedal like super tough. You're like, yo, like she says like a joke that you take the wrong way or something like that, and you're just like, yeah, we can definitely do that. Like I really do actually like you. And she's like, wait, what did you say? And you're just like,
Joke's on you.
Yeah.
Joke's on you.
Yeah.
I was
Dude,
just
that's
testing
so
you.
crazy.
Ew, gross.
Oh my god,
I
you look
never
so
look at you like
stupid
that.
right now.
Bro, I just real quick. This is you brought it up. Just a quick.
I knew Keenan was gonna have a story. I
got so many stories.
Keenan was gonna have a story.
This is girl at the time I was feeling, and we were in my car, and I thought like she was giving me signals to make a move on her.
Oh,
so, you know,
no.
I go to make the move to go kiss her, and she goes, man, she got to put her hand on my chest like, that's why you're such a good buddy of mine. And then I'm like, and then I go, but I keep going, and I go to get something out of my the side seat, like her passenger seat, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. It's like, oh yeah, cool. I just wanted to see if this was still here. Yeah, of course we're great friends. You know what I'm saying?
It's a Q-tip. It's a
Bro.
Q-tip.
Just a packet of salt that I need to put on my shoulder.
I don't even know what I grabbed. I don't know if it was like pencil shape. What the fuck was it? A pin cap or something?
Your pride. You was like, I think my pride was on the other side of this car. Actually, I was trying to see.
That's a fact.
It's still there. That's so crazy. I actually needed this in this moment. That's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, that shit. So I felt this moment, but we ended up finding out that it wasn't even really that. She had found a fly in her food, and that's what she was saying ill for. And it's more than just
he still was hurt though.
He was definitely still hurt. But I think I don't know. At least from what I got from what they were talking about, he was saying let's just get the money and stop doing all this shit in general. It wasn't even about finishing these jobs. It's about finding another way. It might take us 3 years to get this money a different way, but if we do it this way, we can get the fuck up out of here. We ain't got to do no more killing. And we found out this dude, he has mommy issues too, man. He has a lot.
He got lots of issues.
He does. He does. Because he explains that, you know, his mom was European, I think he said, or his
grandparents. I think
his grandparents or something. But basically she had blonde hair too. So this woman, you know, she's got blonde hair, reminds him of her, and you know, so he's definitely got some Oedipus stuff going on.
I always thought that shit was weird. It's like people that date people that remind him of, you know, close family members. Like, I
don't think so. I think a lot of times we indirectly look for things that are like in maybe the woman that kind of raised us. The same thing with men a lot of times do if they have a father. If their father is a good person, they're looking for those traits in a man also. Right. And a lot of times,
I think from a personality perspective, 100%. I'm just talking about the visual aspect, like
hell no.
Hey, you look like my mom.
That's fucking gross. Like that's where
disgusting.
I get that. Like you would want a woman to take care of you just the way your mom did, because that like a good woman when you see it. But like if your mom had red hair and you like, oh yeah, I love red hair, it's like, bro, what? Like that's a little weird. Like
nah, hell nah. Because now when you meet the mother or the father or whatever in that person, you're like, if I look like my girl's father, I'd have been like, you're a freak. You're nasty.
You are
sick. Shit.
You are sick.
But yeah, so they're having this, you know, semi-romantic lunch or afternoon when it gets crashed pretty unceremoniously by Shiro, who shows back up. Now with white hair, also some lighter hair himself, and he's kind of just like, he's got all these like vaguely, you know, veiled threats of just like, I'm back. He took my arm, so I'm probably not gonna be able to fight much anymore. But you know, you really should kill somebody that you attack, because if you don't, they remember your face, and then some bad shit can happen to you. Yeah. And they're just like,
the saying has always been, if you ever pull your gun, use it.
Yeah, man.
You come at the king, you best not miss.
Bam, there it is. That's real.
Yeah.
This guy, he's mad. He's real mad about this. So he's just like, listen, so you guys look good. I'm just gonna go take a little stroll. I'll be back later. Too bad Morpheus guy wasn't here to enjoy it. Maybe it's for the best he's not here. And they leave, and see you when you get back. And she catches this. She's immediately like, we got to get the fuck out of here.
Immediately.
We gotta go. But it's not long, unfortunately. The guy is out and about, maybe trying to get them, their stuff together or whatever. She's, tending shop, and a bunch of dudes from the Idu show up and just start beating the shit out of her.
Dog shit out of her.
Bro,
I feel like whoever, I'll talk about it a little bit more when we get to this point, but like whoever, it's just annoying because whoever put the animation together and the budget allocation, they are sick. They are sick, and you
Thank you, Ice.
You see,
yes,
and
Ice.
you see
yes.
where their values lie, and you see what's important to them. And it's definitely not great fight scenes, but we do see where they priorities lie, and it's in torture and sick shit.
Yeah. So she is getting beat up. She gets overpowered. And this guy, who I didn't recognize him, but I think he was from that same fight, where she was at the coffee house or whatever and poisoned that dude. She'd used some of her darts to nail some people to the ground. And this guy's basically like, you almost killed me. Like I've got nerve damage in my hand from like your arrow thing. Like my hand doesn't work anymore. Like he's pissed and he's there to get his revenge. But before anything can happen there, the younger dude that she had been having lunch with shows back up and he gets to work. Like he slices a couple of dudes up like pretty quick. I was like, oh shit. When he's like cut that one dude's like face in half, I was like, okay.
And then use the other dude to stab the other dude. Like I was like, all right.
I thought he was a simp and a chump. From that first game we seen him in. I didn't think he had any skills. And then he proved me wrong quickly.
Yeah, but again, he too just gets like totally overmatched. They have this other guy with him that looks like a blind swordsman. And I think we've covered this. Yeah, I think we've covered this before. Any blind character on an anime is going to whoop your fucking ass.
but facts. But these blind characters are kind of underwhelming though. He's kind of underwhelming after this because
he is.
Yeah.
But so he gets dispensed with, by this dude, and they take her off, back to their, their hideout, and we see a short little scene on their way out that Shira is basically getting paid some money for some information. He basically tipped these guys off about where his old buddies were staying. Yeah. On the road with Manji, Taito, they clearly got out. They got their pass or whatever, and they're out on the road. And Manji's kind of just like, so why are you hanging out with this artist dude? Like, didn't think that you'd want to work for him or something like that. This doesn't really seem like your speed. And Taito kind of tells him a little bit about his backstory. What he's looking for Shira for, and it's just like, well, this guy told me he didn't know anything, but he kind of gave me a vibe that maybe he did. So I thought if I stuck around, I might find something out. But didn't come together. But hey, it worked out eventually because he led him to Manji, who is bringing him to find.
It's funny how they was both like, yeah, we both some simp ass motherfuckers. Like we both here because of women. I think that kind of cracked me up a little bit.
That was pretty funny.
I've liked their on screen dynamic so far. Whether it was their first fight scene and whether it's here right now, I feel like they work well together. And I'm kind of a little bit, I don't say upset really, but I'm just kind of like I'm kind of a little bit bummed that it's like he's not going to join the team. You know what I'm saying, and rock with them through the rest of the journey like that.
Yeah, I thought it looked like it was going to it might become something like that. But yeah, for now, it's a temporary alliance. So they're still looking for Shira. Meanwhile, Morpheus gets back to the base and sees Shira's work. Everybody's all cut the fuck up. And he sees the guy on the floor, the guy that had been part of his team, the younger guy, and kind of notices he's pointing off in a direction. He's like, all right, cool. Like, I know where I got to go. But back at the Ido-Ryu base, this is kind of the moment where, you were talking about Ice. They're showing what they're doing to this poor girl. And, they're just torturing the fuck out of her.
Shit. I think that's like one of the most... Not the most brutal sequences because it wasn't super long, but the two things that they did to her in that moment was some of the sickest shit I've ever seen.
Yeah, and go ahead.
Well, no, I mean they're questioning her about who else did you have on your team, and she's staying quiet. She's just like that was it. They want to know who Akagi is, who sent them, and she's not giving them anything. She's locked up tight.
This whole scene, I'm sorry, just.
Yeah,
they put a hole in her leg.
No. They burned.
Even before that,
they burned a hole into her leg.
Yeah.
And then dipped a nail in fucking chili pepper sauce.
To stop because you can't
And-
bleed with this shit in.
And then beat that into her leg so it didn't bleed.
Like it's a fucking wall.
I can't even imagine the level of that pain.
Yeah, that was.
That shit is any of those. Even
Yeah.
before you get to the hammer, it's still like.
But that showed to me too. This is when and I know this scene was brutal and fucked up. But this is when I knew she is not to be fucked with. She is. If this is happening, she's been through some shit.
Yeah,
That's like
absolutely.
The killer was the shit.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that's
Oh, that's
shit
that.
to me.
To be honest with you, when I was watching this torture scene, it made me think of Killer. It made me think of
Like,
Killer
bro,
from Hunter x Hunter.
This ain't shit. Like I've been tortured my whole fucking life, bro. Get that
Yeah.
bullshit out of here. But yeah, that's fucked up, and I see like they put a lot of time and effort into that, and that kind of made me mad because it could have been allocated somewhere else.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah, because they got. Go ahead.
Oh, well, I'm gonna say I don't think so necessarily because I don't know if the budget, regardless if they put the money, I think they would be putting the money into one or two fight scenes and then that's it. I think they were like, all right, this is what we have. We gotta, and I think they were just gonna like be like, all right, let's do this I guess a little bit different. Let's make this the most brutal looking anime that we can because we can't spend all the money on the fight scene because the fight scene I'm sure even costs more than those scenes that they took all those torture scenes with. Because a fight scene costs a lot of money. I didn't know it can cost up to like hundreds of thousands for some of these dope ass fight scenes. So it's
but if you have a title of a show named Blaze of Immortal, it's around sword fighting.
And I get that too. But I'm saying too, since the anime was,
I'm sorry, I just
it's
love
big.
how Ice broke that down. He's like, but the name of the show though.
Well, yeah. And that's 100%. There's nothing I can dispute about that. But they're just redoing an anime, and I just think they were just like, all right, this budget. I actually want to know how much this budget was compared to most anime budgets because I feel like it was such a low budget that they were just like, man, we got to do what we can fucking do. Pretty much.
The only thing I can say to that is that we do know that this is a new production studio. Because remember I talked about it in the first day.
Right.
Is that they've only really produced like one other anime. So you'd have to assume their budget is low. And they obviously don't know what scenes to emphasize when it comes to what like is fan service. And the thing is, everybody likes to make fan service sound like it's a bad thing. Like it's like, oh, we're doing this for the fans. Like, well, that's why they're here. You know what I'm saying? Is because they came here for something. And if you don't give them that, they won't keep coming back. And this show consistently does not do fan service. It does the opposite. This show is like the opposite of that, the opposite of fan service. Because we don't really care normally to see if any of us or any kind of anime fan, for the most part, speaking to the majorities, if you're like, yo, I got this crazy torture scene of this ninja lady getting destroyed by these guys, and there's nothing even sexual about it, just lit up, and we're gonna show you intricate details that show you how tough she is, or I'm gonna show you a fight between two immortal blades. Which one did you want to see? You know what I'm saying?
You're gonna want to see the Immortal Blade.
But
Every time.
And that's true. But the fact that the dude ends up like dying, which I felt like that fight, if they did that fight scene, the dude shouldn't have died, and he should be able to come back and they fight it at the end sometime.
But they didn't do it.
I feel like it would have been lackluster because the dude dies anyways.
Regardless of the fact, it didn't happen.
You guys ever see that I think it's a meme or a gif or something like that, where somebody shoots like a basketball shot and they turn and look at the camera like Spice Williams will do it. He'll turn and look at the camera with all the confidence and just like,
and then
just,
they go,
just hit like the top of the back.
Just
hit like the top of the backboard and do nothing, and he's just like.
It's Nick Young, Kimber Walker. They had
exactly.
Yeah. The shimmy,
doing the shimmy, just missing the shot. That's what this entire show feels like to me. Like that gif, right?
Really gangster. When it comes to the pump fakes, it's gangster level for real. Like it's not bad as gangster, but it's like set it up. Nah, we just playing. Set it up.
I want to argue with that, but I really can't. And I think Rob actually said something to that effect to me the other day. Did you? Am I crazy, Rob?
I think we talked about that last episode that they do set things up like those fights, and then they kind of cut away to like show something else that is like, I don't care about that. Like, I want to see this fight. You know what I mean?
But this torture scene, though, you about to get that whole scene. And
it absolutely got sexual because as soon as they stop physically torturing her, they take her in the next room and like the next scene, her clothes are open and she's covered in something. You know what I mean?
I didn't even catch that.
This got to like Goblin Slayer levels for me, honestly.
I was just
like,
about to say. It's Goblin Slayer.
Like the attention to detail into what they went into of like not even just showing the rape, but the aftermath of it. Like, we didn't need that,
right?
At all.
We didn't need it.
We didn't need it. It was unnecessary.
And up until this point, we haven't had a fire ass fight scene.
Not one.
It'd be different if they was giving us that. Then it's like, okay, let me roll my eyes for this torture scene, but then you get back to the dope ass fight scene to make you forget about it.
Yeah, I mean, because like that's what Ninja Scroll did. You know what I'm saying? Like even Ninja Scroll, the movie, where it's just like, oh, this is an almost horrible rape scene that was like way too graphic, but it immediately rolled into a dope fight scene. You know what I'm saying? You're just like, oh, okay, all right, I get what you were doing there.
Sour Patch Kid shit. Yeah,
very much so. Like I see what you're doing here. You know, just like this
sour
is
than sweet.
Exactly. This show doesn't have the sweet payoff. Because even like but either way, let's continue, Rob. Like,
it's just a fucking warhead.
Yeah, because they, because I mean, that it's them sleeping with her is part of kind of what gets her rescued because Morpheus is out on the street looking for her. He knows the general area.
I love that you call him Morpheus, by the way.
I don't remember.
That shit is amazing.
I think this dude is so dope too.
Yeah, he's got a cool weapon.
Yeah, he's dope.
He immediately like pulls one of the guys over, that had been torturing her, and it's just like he's basically like, the jig is up. Like I know you were there because I smell a woman on you, and it's somebody that only had this specific type of bleach that my friend has in their hair. So fucking fess up. and so
you fucked her a bunch of times.
Yeah. So he gives up the information. He's on his way there, on his way to, get his revenge and get her out of there.
Cuts his head off.
Cuts that dude's head off.
Yeah.
Because I think he tells him like, oh, I'll let you live if you tell me what's up. And then he tells him, he's like, I can't let you live.
This is the second time. This is what he does. He's an asshole. Because this is the second time he's kind of like, look, you tell me everything, I'll let you go. You know I can't let you go.
I can't let you go, man.
I'm not saying shit. You gotta cut my head off at this point.
Was this the one where he was talking about the dude that died and was pointing to the southwest?
Right.
I can't remember.
He's like my buddy died.
That was
he was
pretty
pointing.
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was good teamwork. Obviously, like the team got disbanded, but like there were some good players on there. They were able to forward that team momentum. But
how dope is that though? Like the pointing to the southwest, like I'm about to die. It's like they went that way.
Yeah,
I can show you the way.
So he's showing up and he starts at the base is like killing people, getting his revenge, cutting his way in, and the blind swordsman's kind of just like, I'm gonna go check what this shit's like about. Like you stay here, you keep an eye on her. And that dude like falls asleep and she sees her moment to like, sneak out of there and is kind of like trying to grab one of her sandals where she's got like a knife hidden in there. Guy almost wakes up, but she manages to like kind of cut the bonds. Outside, Morpheus is doing work and this guy, he runs into the blind swordsman. It seemed this was a kind of a pump fake for me, I thought a little bit, because I was like, oh shit. I thought like this was going to be a big fight between these two. But as they cut away, like you see a few clashes, but then they cut away to like her getting out. And as the guy screams, the blind dude screams, waking the other guy up, and he runs outside just to see that this dude's like, face has been chopped in half with, our dude's just standing right there, kind of just like,
is that
all right,
when he got the
you're
two
next.
dudes pissing too, right?
Yeah, he caught
that. Was so funny. Yo, hold on a second. That scene had me cracking up because there's two guys outside. The two swordsmen are outside peeing, and it's like, did you hear that? What was that? Oh shit, dude's coming at us. And they're both just like, I
gotta finish. I'm not finishing. I'm peeing. I'm putting the package back up.
I'm not putting anything up. I'm pulling a sword.
Yeah, just turn around.
My dick is gonna be out on this fight. Like,
because that's
you're getting pissed on.
Exactly. But to me, that's the first thing they going for. If your package is out, they cutting off your dick, then they gonna church you up.
That's better than cutting off your head, fam. What happened to him? Trying to protect their dick.
You still get at the. At the end of the day, at the very least, you getting piss on your lip. At the very least, I'm gonna have some type of dignity
when
I
I'm
go
dead,
out.
when I'm dead, and when Brennan's dead in this situation, he ain't got no dick and no head. I just ain't got no head. I'm cool with that.
We, at least we have a story. We have a story to tell. We went out swinging, literally. So like,
you don't have a story to tell because you out here dickless and headless. You're dead.
But hey, we in wherever we at, like, fam. Brendan and I are like, yo, we pulled our sword out. We had 2 swords out in this motherfucker. So like,
Yeah.
you just sitting there like, well, I put my shit up, but
I put my shit
we
up.
gave ourselves a
I
chance.
probably got more work in because I was able to focus. Nobody can focus correctly with their dangalang hanging out and swinging.
I gave myself a chance because if the piss hit his eye, he can't see me.
He got glasses on. This is Morpheus. Nope, that ain't working. Nope.
Yeah, it is.
That's
It's
true.
He got glasses.
He's got the goggles.
Wrong. This dude is. He
Brennan,
had nerves
if
of
you
steel.
get water
It
in
ain't
your
happening.
face, you still can't see. It's like, oh shit.
He got glasses on.
I fully accept your argument that you're no longer worried about your dick. You're turning around and fighting. I do not accept the defense that the pee is going to do anything in a sword fight.
To this dude specifically too.
It is. If it gets on his glasses, I give myself some type of time. Maybe it's a couple seconds.
Nothing.
But I can do
Ice.
something.
Literally nothing.
It's gonna do something.
Rob, do you have an opinion on this?
About like the piss?
Yes.
Not really. I think this guy is finding a way through it. I think that's maybe a little stumbling block for this dude, but he's going to recover.
He's
Yeah,
focused. He's
I
trying to
feel
get. He's trying to get to his homegirl right now, life or death. A little bit of piss. If you piss directly into his mouth, he would have just drank it like it was nothing and still cut your head off. It wouldn't have bothered him.
Dude, I still got to go out like a G.
I hear that. I hear turning around like just like you got to fight because they're just like, oh, I can't finish, and like you're finished, all right, like you're done. But so that guy, the guy that the last remaining person, the guy that had started this whole thing, the ringleader, charges out and sees that he's basically alone at this point. It's just him and this Morpheus dude, and as he turns and he's just like, hey, I'm gonna run in there, I'm gonna stab her before you can get to me. Like that's checkmate. But he's as soon as he says that, like he gets told to turn around and sees her like coming out. You know, she cut her way out of the ropes. She's coming out. You know, all victorious, and he's like. That sends him into a rage, and he just charges her.
Like,
you know,
even better. She's closer.
yeah. Morpheus throws out his fucking thing, cuts off this dude's arm, so he's totally unarmed at this point, and he's just like,
no pun
oh,
intended.
so he tries to like. He tries to make a break for it at that point, right? Or maybe he's going to try to like make a death charge or something like that. And this lady's like, there's no fucking way I am letting you get away from me at this point. Are you kidding me? Just picks up his sword and charges after him, like stabs him in the back, like down to the ground and just like, you know, opens him up. And we flash back from there. We kind of get her backstory. We knew she had told Rin like, hey, don't fall in love with a samurai. And we find out why she said that. Because I at first thought like, oh, maybe like her husband died and, you know, she was heartbroken because of it. But no, it turns out he's just a total piece of shit. Anime
dads are trash.
Definitely this guy takes, you know, he's a contender for the top because she gives him a daughter. You know, they have a child, it's a daughter, and he's just like, that's worthless. I can't train her, and just like gets rid of the kid, like kills the kid, sends it off, whatever. And then eventually she has a son, but the son is just physically weak. And the dad is just like, no, you're going to do like this hard exercise 100 times. The kid's just doing his best. He's trying. Yeah. And she's just like, what are you doing? You're going to kill him. And sure enough, like the kid does like start like, you know, coughing. It's clear he can't cut it. And the dad's just like, all right, shit.
You're right.
Cuts him in half and it's just like, all right, let's get inside. You're going to give me another kid. And she just like at that point freaks out and it kind of, go ahead, Keenan, because I mean,
I'm just gonna say like the fact that he kills her, chops her son in half. He doesn't even give like an honorable death. Chops the fucking child in half
In the middle, in the torso.
In the torso, it goes, you know what? Get back inside so we can fucking get another one. Like that's not how this shit goes.
I mean, that's how that shit goes for him.
I'm glad she murdered him. I'm glad she killed him.
Oh yeah,
because
yeah.
we cut to the next scene. She's like bleaching her hair and like monologuing about how she was trying to clean herself to get her children's blood off of her, but it never comes out. And we kind of cut to outside, and this dude's just got a fucking sword sticking out of his head at this point. He's just a rat.
But I thought it was like, so this is the dream that she was having. Remember, he's like, she was cursed with something, and this was a dream when she wakes up screaming. I get why, because I was like, why is she waking up screaming this bad? It probably wasn't that bad. Fuck.
It's bad.
I get why she woke up, but I also too wanted to say too, that death scene when she killed that dude on the ground, that shit was so dope to me. Like the way how it kind of ended with the like just the blood kind of doing the circle.
Yeah,
that shit was hard.
That shit was hard.
That was cool.
They showed that they can put the money somewhere else.
I mean, the graphic of it looked hard, but it still wasn't necessarily a super, like, the whole sequence wasn't super animated. It was like kind of like a still type of thing, yeah.
Yeah, it was a good transition, though, which the show does not always have. So,
right.
Good transition. But, so at that point, she gets, the rest of the story goes, the police show up. They got to arrest her. They're going to put her to death when Morpheus shows up as she's about to get killed and saves her. And so that's part of why she's been wrapped up in this whole, assassin league or whatever. But she wakes, so 3 days later she wakes up and, she's there with Morpheus. He's sort of just like, hey, like you good? Like you hungry? And she's like, yeah, no, I could use some food. And as he goes to get her some food, he comes back and she's not there. She comes back and she got her hair chopped off.
We talked about this in a previous episode of how important that is.
Right.
Yeah.
And how long her hair was specifically.
Yeah. And she laid the hair at the grave of, their former teammate who had died. And kind of reflected on, maybe they could have had a life together, in a different world. Hey, Cameron, people were wondering when we were going to have Cam on the show.
People were wondering, Cameron.
Everybody's
saying, can you hear him, Cameron?
I saw the comments. Too.
Oh, yeah. I saw the comments. They're looking for you. There's Cameron right there, guys.
There we go.
Killer Cam.
That's the guy.
He's the man. We out here.
But I thought it was pretty cool, and you put the hair pretty much because a lot of that.
I'm sorry. I apologize. Remember what you're saying, Cameron. Yeah. Have you ever had a situation where you were trying to? Yeah, I'm gonna ask him. Have you ever had a situation where you was trying to like make a move on a girl, or you said something that was like embarrassing? You had to backpedal hard. Where you're just like, yeah, I do like you, and they're just like, what, you? And you're just like, oh no, I was just playing, girl. What was it? What happened?
I don't feel like talking about it.
You don't want to talk about it? All right, we're going to leave that where it was.
Cam was like, look, motherfucker, I do sound on the podcast. I'm not here to tell my story about none of this shit.
Cameron's like, that is not your business, sir.
Fam. No.
So the next episode is pretty much all Manji and Taito. They're on the road, looking for Shira, looking for Kagehisa. And they're on their way there when all of a sudden they're surrounded on the road. And there's a bunch of assassins like out in the fucking in the trees. They're surrounded and they're getting ready to attack when out of the blue, Shira comes and just chops off Manji's arm. And it's like, hey, like now you know exactly what I had to go through. Like,
right.
Revenge is a bitch kind of thing.
And you want me to reattach your arm? Haha, yeah, that's not possible.
Yeah, he's just like, I know how you feel. It seems like you should be able to reattach it, but you can't. That shit's forever. And I'm like, I can't wait to see this dude's face in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, I know, right?
But at that point, Taito and while he's healing up Manji, Taito and Shira have a few words. Obviously, he recognizes the symbol on his clothing, and it's just like, you're the dude I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And he's just like, so you hired all these dudes to come jump us? And he's like, yeah, I paid him 8 Ryu. I paid him half now. I'm paying him the other half later. And Taito
he said some gangster shit.
Right.
He did. He's like, you better pay him the rest now because you're fucking done, dude. Like, this is over.
And it's funny.
He said you can't spend money when you dead. So
yeah, you know what this reminded me of? This would kind of remind me of kind of like Killmonger when it was like he was like yeah, but why ain't he here to fuck with you? He's like, I'm here to kill Manji anyway. He's like, man, remember Killmonger was like, all that challenge shit is dead. Nah,
that challenge shit is over.
Nah, us like. He was like, Manji don't mean shit here, bro. I'm here for you, and you ain't getting to him until you gotta get through me first.
Yeah.
The way he was saying stuff was so cold. He was like, you're my opposite today. I'm like, bro, what? Like, that's some Rob shit. Like, you could have just said, like, I'm your opponent, like, you're fighting me. No, bitch, you're my opposite today. Like,
Yeah, so they're squaring off, and at this point, I think they go to fight, and it seems like, we we know this guy lost an arm. We don't know what else he's got underneath his cloak, and as Taito's fighting him, he gets cut like deeply, and he backs up, and he's just like, "What the fuck just stabbed me?" And the dude throws off his cloak and reveals that he's turned his severed arm into a weapon using
lobster bone, just
his
like
bone.
That shit is fucking disgusting. What's the dude's name on Mortal Kombat that got the fucking? That's what they reminded me of.
Baraka.
Oh, Baraka.
Yeah, Baraka.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I was like, get the fuck out of here.
But this showed me too, like his determination for revenge. Like to do this, like that. I had to think about that. I know he's just a fucking creep, but I was like, for somebody to just go through this length to be like, all right, man, I'm gonna turn this. This ain't gonna be a handicap for me. I'm gonna have to make it a some type of skill or like a handicap in a good way. And shit,
Yeah.
The fact that you have to sharpen that, like you have to sharpen your own fucking bone.
And that's what he says. That's what turned his hair white, is the pain and the anguish from doing all that. And he's like, but it focused me. This guy is totally off the fucking rails at this point. Yeah. And when he sees Manji is healing up, at first he's like, oh shit, like what the hell is going on? But then it immediately turns it into a positive for him. Like, oh man, I'm gonna have so much fun with you. I'm gonna slice you up so many different ways just to see what you can like live through. He's like frothing at the mouth when Manji's just like, man, like I'm not here to fight you. I'm out of here. I did my job. You're supposed to be fighting this dude. I'm good. Yeah. But after Taito gets wounded, Manji basically just kind of he's like, all right, well, I got to get involved. Like runs and tackles this dude down into the woods, and they go like tumbling down a hill. And after Taito goes searching after him, he finds Manji, and he's just like, yeah, I kind of lost him in there somewhere. He's tumbling around, but like, hey, this is your kind of place. Like, you like the woods. So you're at a big advantage here. So, hey, good luck. Happy hunting. He's out there somewhere. And basically, they head off for now, and he wishes him good luck. And it's not too long before Taito does find him, like holed up in a shack, basically. And they clash at first. They're having a sword fight.
This is the best fight of the entire show, and it's not that great.
Facts.
You know what's funny? I thought I'm not saying it was a great fight, but I think for this, I don't think they're trying to do something crazy with the fight. This scene, when I'm watching this show, a lot of things seem more realistic with their fights in a sense. Like, these are like real people fighting.
This is not realistic. This fight is not realistic.
I'm saying in the sense of like, there's no super sword stuff like that. Everything is like human-esque that they can do. Nothing's like necessarily supernatural.
I mean, I can't tell because they don't show it. So
they showed it in this one. They showed it in this one.
Kinda. Yeah, I mean, they showed this fight. They showed this fight.
They showed this fight.
Virally.
They literally showed the fight. They showed you what they can show you. Like, I don't understand what more.
Yeah,
I mean, they're saying it's trash, it's fine, but they still showed the fight.
It's not a trash fight. Not a trash fight. Not a great fight. Not a trash fight.
But he does find him, and he's basically just like, Manji's not your opponent today. Yeah, like I'm your opposite. Like this is with me. This is over that girl. And at first, Taito's sort of, Shear's just like, I don't even really know who you're talking about. And then when he kind of gets into it, he's like, oh shit, yeah, no, I do know. And he gets into this really disgusting description of why he likes to kill women when he sleeps with them that I'm not going to get into.
This literally was, this right here is the reason it's getting the rating it's getting this week. This right here, this moment right here was one of the worst things I've ever heard. Like, straight up.
It was bad. It was bad.
That was one of the worst things I've ever heard, ever.
We knew this dude was a monster, but this is like fucking reprehensible shit. Like, he's like the worst of the worst. At least on this show, maybe out of any of the other shows we've seen, this dude is a straight up irredeemable villain. Like, and
is he worse than Shinji's dad?
Yes.
Yeah, because at least Shinji's dad was like working towards like a greater good. You know what I mean? This dude is this is like a want to watch the world burn sort of motherfucker.
Who's worse, him or the goblins in Goblin Slayer?
I'm going to say him because the goblins kind of were like instinctual and they were doing horrible things, but I felt like it was more like instinct. Like, these are just beasts following the beast mode. Like this guy is like thinking things.
He's conscious of it.
He's very conscious of how horrible the things he's doing are, and he's doing them on purpose.
I think the goblins definitely knew what the fuck they were doing. But go ahead. You can make an excuse all you want. I'm not letting that ride.
No, the goblins are horrible. I'm not saying like he wins by a landslide, but I'm just saying like this dude is pretty terrible.
Nah, you made an excuse. Go ahead.
So who's worse, Keenan? Who's your pick? Who you got?
If anything, I would say they're close to even, and I would still give it to or the goblin. But I'll say it's most likely more along the lines of even.
Rob?
I personally, for the reasons you laid out, Brennan, I kind of think that this guy is worse just because.
Yeah.
Goblins are awful.
The only reason why he's worse is because he can speak. The goblins can't speak.
No, but
the goblins can speak.
That's what I'm saying.
Some wild shit.
That's the entire point, though, Keenan. Is that if goblins were more sentient and more aware of what they were doing, and they still did that, then that's horrible. But they're like instinctually, like literally slobbering and just doing it as a group. This is one guy who likes a specific feeling that happens in the worst way possible that he has orchestrated 5 times. He's done it 5 times. That is horrible.
He has knowledge of the world. He has knowledge of good people and how good people should conduct themselves.
And he doesn't even know how many people he's killed. Doesn't even know. Like, you kill a lot of people. How do you remember them? Well, there's a certain taste to the right type of killing. And this right here, that.
You know how many goblins rape? They don't know either, motherfuckers. So what are you talking about?
I really can't believe that you are defending anything about this guy.
Who's defending? I said it's even. I said it's terrible.
I say this. He's worse for sure.
Well, anyway, fucking Taito, that obviously sends him over the edge because he's like, oh yeah, no, I do remember your girl, and goes into, awful detail about what she went through when she died, and that just sends Taito over the edge, and like, it's all sorts at that point, he stabs Shira, cuts off part of his ear. Shira stabs him. Like, they kind of clash, and then he gets kicked out of the building, and he's just like, all right, like, maybe I can just like wait him out in here. He hasn't left. I can just kind of hang out outside. He's got to be fucked up. And while he's waiting there, his Shira like just totally impales him from inside the building. He takes his sword, sends it through. They seem to have stabbed each other. But yeah, they're just hacking each other apart, and the fight continues on deeper and deeper into the woods. And it seems like Shira is gonna win this thing. He's got Taito like kind of dead to rights. When Taito does eventually use the landscape to his advantage, he's just like, have you noticed it's cooler down here than it was up there? Like, you know what that means? And then like tackles this dude, runs through the forest, and this guy's like stabbing him the whole time, like with his arm, with his sword, all the shit. And finally,
the story of that nub, we haven't even really talked about that, right? Like,
I think we
a
little bit.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that. Like, so I've had surgery where my bones have been like, I actually had a bone marrow taken out of my hip. Yeah, right, Rob? And it was one of the worst pains I've ever experienced. And waking up into it, like I woke up into shock. And so to watch my man use that and talk about how painful it is to use exposed bone to cut people with, and he's just like, I filed my bone into a sharp piece to use as a weapon, and I blacked out multiple times doing it, and then still is hurting himself every time he does it, but still using it.
I mean, clearly, if he does what he does, which I'm saying he does, he's clearly a psycho. So this is not. Nothing that he wouldn't do. Like, this is.
I've never seen anybody do something like this in a different show. I've never seen somebody shave their bones.
I'm saying for him in this world, this is something that he would do. Clearly,
for me, it's and I agree with you. I fully agree with you. I'm just saying, like, I'm searching my heart right now to find a more evil motherfucker in anything else that we've seen. Like, I really am. It's like, okay, maybe the goblins get a tie, but who else? You know what I'm saying? It's just like, out of everything we've seen, out of all the horrible villains, people out here doing all these horrible things, my man right here, who?
You know who might be worse? What's the dude name that fucking turned his daughter into a Chimera?
He's the worst person ever so far that I've seen. You turned his
daughter. Who's worse?
He's bad for sure.
And his wife.
And his wife.
Yeah, he's a monster for sure.
Those memes.
Yeah, that's fucked
Those
up.
memes are so funny, dog.
What do you
They are
say?
pretty-
Edward.
Like the fusion, you know.
Yeah.
So who's worse? It's like we having the worst tournament, and so who takes the cake?
Those are like completely different types of evil.
I know it's that is a hard call.
I don't think, and that's the thing. I don't think you can put certain things in certain categories and who's necessarily worse. Is because like
Evil is evil.
But evil has levels one, but also two. Like this dude that like the dude that did that to his daughter. I don't think he has the mental capability or the level of evil in him to do what this guy's doing to people. You know what I'm saying? I think that he has the evil in him to do what he did to his own daughter. I think he would do that shit.
Yeah.
But I don't think he has that evil inside him. So I don't know.
I'd agree with that.
I agree with that.
I mean,
as well.
just because your reasoning is different doesn't mean that doesn't make you less evil.
No. I agree with Keenan. It's tough to say like who's worse, but I don't think that guy had it in him to do what this dude's doing.
No, I don't think so either.
He's too. I hate to give Shearer a compliment, but he's way mentally stronger than that other dude. You know what I mean? He got to that point where he did what he did because he was mentally weak and was afraid of failure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shearer clearly is fucking determined. That dude doesn't stop.
He's ambitious in what his goals, what the fuck he wants to do. It's scary, but it's true.
It's definitely scary, and that's kind of the situation it's in at that point where Taito tackles him over the waterfall, and he manages to he's hanging on with his one hand, and Taito's just like, listen, you can climb up, maybe I'll kill you, but you can just let go because you're done, and but he doesn't want to quit. Shearer's just like, I don't you're right. I don't have the strength to pull myself up, but I'm not letting go of this thing. Like, you better kill me now, because if you just take my hand, I'm probably going to come back and I'm going to come for you. Like, you better kill me right now. And for whatever reason, Taito doesn't kill him. He does just take the hand and
That's what I'm saying. And just plunge that sword right in his face. Like just throw that bitch right in his fucking face.
I'm guessing that he's just being like, all right, he's not going. When I cut his arm off, he's not going to survive this fall. Which, I'm sure the average person wouldn't. But this determined motherfucker, clearly scraping up his own bone like this.
He even threatened him. He's like, yo, if you do this, I'm going to come back.
I'm going to.
And I'm convinced he will. Yeah, honestly, in any medium, anime, movie, whatever. Like, if somebody falls and you don't see them splat, they're probably coming back.
Yeah,
like that's just kind of the way it works.
One thing that irks me about his bone thing is like the risk reward on that is not good. Not good. Like, you can surprise somebody once with that attack, but if you don't kill them, they know it's there. And it hurts you too, because he took advantage of that during the fight. He would get between his bone and hit his nerves, and it was like, fuck, like, ugh. So it's like, if you don't kill nobody with that initial surprise, you not doing much of anything after that with that bone.
Yeah, no. So he does. He wins the fight, and he heads back and meets back up with Manji. And they kind of have like their moment where they're just like, well, shit. I guess we're kind of both headed to the same place after this, but we're kind of lining up across battle lines against each other at this point. Like, we're going to be next time we see each other, it's probably not going to be as friends. So. They kind of just wish each other well and basically head off. Manji gives him some money to be like, here, take, like, you're gonna need some food on the road. Take this.
He fucked with him, man.
There's mutual respect there for sure.
Yeah.
But the episode ends with we cut back to Rin, who's tired on her own, trying to get to this next destination where she's going to find Kagehisa, and she like passes out, from exhaustion, and finally somebody does nurse her back to health, and of course, who is it? It's Kagehisa. So
what are the chances, right?
What are the chances?
She has the best world. That plot armor, bro.
Episode, I was like, what in the Askeladd is going on here? Like, what the fuck? I was just so mad that
He is this is the version. I guess they you can't say got it from each other because I guess wherever the manga was done and this came out, they weren't from each other. But he's very Askeladd-esque.
That's what I'm.
And what he does in this episode.
For sure. Yeah, so the next episode is a direct pickup. She's immediately like, yo, what the hell? Like, backs up. And it's just like, what the hell? Like, what are you doing here? But before they can get any answers, he's like, shut the fuck up. We're not alone. And like a bunch of dudes, like, dressed in like ninja gear, come out of the woods and are just like, hey, like, Kagehisa, we're fucking here for you. And we get another pump fake here, unfortunately.
That was a great fight scene, Brennan, right?
What'd you say?
I said that was a great fight scene.
Bruh,
I was definitely. I guess for me, I had two emotions with this. I was very upset. Then I was kind of like, all right, they probably. I'm saying one, we don't know the budget, but then two, I was just like, maybe they're just like, we're not going to give too much of a fight scene because these are like lower level people. It's not like it doesn't matter to show this.
Yeah.
But that's some of the most fun things you see sometimes. Is like somebody who's really powerful, showing you how dope they are, lighting up all the cannon fodder. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, oh look, he tried to block it with a sword, went through the sword, went through his neck, head's over there hitting the tree. You know what I'm saying? You're like, yeah, did you see what happened?
And also too, this
is
episode 12.
Watch, but I see what you're saying.
This is episode 12. It'd be different. You can use that excuse a couple episodes in. We halfway through, and they still haven't gave us. Every fight up until now has been lackluster at best. And then it's like, too, you build that character. Like, it's one thing to have a legend about somebody, to say that they're the head or something, but to actually see it, just like Vinland Saga. You saw Thorkill was not to be fucked with. You saw him dismantle men. You saw him in the first couple seconds of the show. You saw he wasn't to be fucked with, but you didn't realize what you were seeing.
Yeah.
Then he comes back and he shows you, like, I'm fucking Thorkill for a reason. Like, I'm a monster for a reason.
That show was really good at doing that. Like Thorfinn and
fuck up everybody.
Thorfinn.
You just got your name starts with a TH in that show. Everybody gonna die.
Yeah, and he was fucking up little people. He was fucking up grunts.
Well, it's cool to see. It's just like you see somebody throw a big guy throw a big heavy axe. You're like, well, what's it really gonna do? And it flies through 11 people. You're just like, okay. And then the protagonist stops it with his bare hands or some shit like that. You're like, yeah! You know, it builds up the understanding of how strong somebody is you got to see the people like the cannon fodder get destroyed by them in a unique way. So that my man right here, he has a weapon that we know the girl could barely lift. So what I want to see is that weapon just shattering these guys, like in him.
We get one. We got
one sword shatter. We got one sword shatter, but it wasn't even that impressive, you know. Right. So I'm just saying, like, I feel like that thing is incredible. Where it's just like he could even just like jump up above somebody and just drop it on their head. You know what I'm saying? Like, how crazy would that be? It's like he's like in the air, drops that, and then pulls the other sword out and like fighting the guy. And some dude's like, I'm about to, and then it just falls and lands on his head and kills him. You're like, damn. Like, that was crazy, you know?
Yeah, I mean, we do come back from the intro, and he's in the middle of, like, just executing the last one of them. And, Rin is just, like, kind of just shocked that all this just happened. But he's kind of like, all right, well, I'm on the move. Like, you can stay, you can go, whatever. Like, I'm out of here. And she follows after him, and they end up, like, taking some shelter in a cave while it's raining. And, like, they barely get in the cave. He takes a seat. He's ready to relax when she's about to, like, throw her bugs, and he's just like, stop.
Come on.
Stop. Like, know your place. Come on. Like, this isn't the time, basically. But she kind of takes that cue of just like, all right, I guess this isn't the time. He's just like, know your skill level, basically, like know your role. And she's just like, all right, cool.
Shut your mouth.
But she asks him, like, so who were those guys? And we get some backstory that, he's been in this area for a while. Now that the Itoryu are legit, they've had some other dojos that want to join up with them. But it seems like they're getting too big. And even though the shogunate, the shogunate has basically sprung its trap. Like, they never really wanted to make the Itoryu legit. And they're using, like, I guess this as an excuse to kind of turn them, like, all these people against them, and this other school that wanted to join up with them, the shogunate came down hard on, and their leader and his daughter killed themselves out of dishonor, and now those that are left with the school are totally blaming it all on Kagehisa, and now they're all coming for him for revenge. And he's just like, basically, I fell into the shogunate's trap. Like we were winning too much, and they decided, we got to do something about it. So they played me. I got betrayed.
They made Jordan rules.
Wait, we didn't hear you.
Yeah, what'd you say?
Is anybody having trouble hearing?
They made Jordan rules for him.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I get. Maybe it's just because I finished up Last Dance, but I do get very strong MJ vibes from Kagehisa. To be honest, he's got his vision. He's just like winning at any fucking cost. Like, I've got this thing I'm doing. I've got this vision of where I want to be, and like fuck everybody. Like, winning has a price. I'm just gonna. This is my thing.
If I got to be the asshole that did it, what kind of eyes he got, Keenan?
Huh?
What kind of eyes he got?
Oh, he got yellow eyes too?
Yeah.
When you're determined like that, you're going to have yellow pissy eyes.
Yellow pissy eyes.
But Kagehisa's just like, oh shit, like I got set up, like I got betrayed, shit's probably happening back in Edo, I better head back, like I better, get back on the road and go back to where I was. And he's kind of just, I guess, trying to make conversation with Rin, and it's just like, so like, why are you training? Like, what's your whole deal? And she's like, are you kidding me? Like she fucking flips out, like I'm trying to kill you. Like, that's what this is all about. And he's like, well, clearly, like I must have wronged you, and I'm sorry. And she again freaks out. What the fuck? This is not something you just get out of with an apology. She like kicks him, punches him. He's not fighting back. He's basically just like, yeah, I'm sorry, basically, like, but you better get some sleep.
I mean, and even at that point, does a apology suffice? Because I remember seeing like when people kill other people's families, and they was like, I want at least an apology. Like, no, fuck that. Like, to me, your sorry doesn't do anything for me. But some families are okay. Like, we forgive him. We just need an apology, and he needs to change his life.
Well, she was. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say she was cool with the other dude, him giving an apology. She's like, if you just apologize, like, I'll forget it. But for him, it was because she thought that he had given up the life. Kagehisa's not giving up the life. He's still the leader and, like, causing pain. And basically, this is just one of the people that he's killed and the ripple effects from that. Who knows how many other Rins are out there because of the shit that Kagehisa has done to try to get to where he's at and where he wants to be. So he's still out there doing this stuff. So to her, like, that apology is empty. He's not going to stop doing what he's doing. It doesn't. But he's just like, listen, like, you can be mad all you want, but better get some rest because we got a long fucking road ahead of us. We're basically being hunted, So it's time to go. So they do continue to travel together, but as they're going down the road, Rin says something to him like, you're looking paler, like you're looking sick, and he's just like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I'm cool.
You must be your imagination, girl.
Yeah,
just your imagination.
But they get to the next village, and he's like, listen, I got business here. Go get us some food. I gotta go talk to somebody. And he goes and he meets up with the musician girl that used to be a part of his crew. I
like her, man.
Yeah, she's just like, immediately she's just like, oh, I'm glad you're here. I had something I wanted to give you. And just puts the money in his hand. It's just like, that's the money that you paid to free me. And now, like, we're square. We're done. And he's just like, he's kind of taken aback by this. Because it seems like he genuinely likes this girl. Like, it was never about that.
But he was like, where you get the money from? I was out here.
Well, first,
yeah, he's like, you didn't
First, he said I was working, helping, making back support for everybody, and he was like, "Bullshit! You can't get this type of money by making back support. Like, what the fuck else she was doing?"
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but and so she's just she's trying to get by. She's got her pride. She wants to pay him off and like live free. But he notices that her hand is like all wrapped up. He's like, oh, what happened? She's like, oh no, I just got like, hurt, doing some farming work. And he unwraps it and she's like sewn her hand shut, like her sword hand shut. Like, and he's just like, what did you do to yourself? Like, this is going to kill you with the infection. And she freaks out and is just like, better that it does. I'm a fucking failure at everything. I can't really do anything right. She seems to still have a lot of regret over the pain and killings she's done. And he, at that point, just hugs her and, just tries to have like a human moment with her. And we kind of hear her like screaming in pain. We don't really see what it is, but I kind of assumed what was happening is he was removing the stitches. And it seems to be that's, what ends up happening. But he meets back up with Rin after that and is kind of like, all right, we're good here. Let's get out of town. And he gives her a sword as well, like for her own protection. And she's kind of just like, what makes you think I'm not going to use this on you? He's like, basically like, try it,
Right.
Yeah.
Try a little bitch.
But they're on the road and she's asking him like, oh, like, can we take a break? And he's like, no, that's not really an option. But then he starts to falter. And as they're resting, he's like, listen, I'm sick. I'm fucked up. Like, this is a reason why I kind of wish we did get to see that fight, because he implies that during that fight, he got cut with something, that,
we
had
didn't
some...
even see that happen.
But we don't see that happen.
He got cut with a sword that had like manure on it or something.
Yeah, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like, how are you gonna reference something that we didn't even see? Like, he's just getting sick. I'm like, oh, why are you sick? Oh, because of that fight that I was in. Y'all know that fight that didn't happen on camera? Yeah, I got cut. I got a little cut by a sword, and now I'm sick. We're just like,
I get that too, but then that's the obvious now. We know that's happening.
I wanted to, but how dope would it have been to see him like messing these guys up, and then just like one small little couple frames.
Nobody's disagreeing that we want to see his fight scene because they kind of built him up to beat with this dope ass weapon. Now I'm not disagreeing with that, but I'm not saying I needed to see him get sliced with a sword that had a little bit of manure on it to make this a thing right now. That doesn't bother me.
He could have got hit with the sword, but they don't tell the context of how he got hit. You can just be in the midst of battle, get hit.
Hey, put your headphones, sir. Headphones.
They are deceased.
I know. No, it's not that we can't hear you. See, now we got a technical moment, everybody. It's not that we can't hear you, Ice. It's it's that you're gonna make a double recording on your phone because everybody can hear the recording of our voices on your phone right now.
Well,
all right, but go on.
out of here then.
Don't worry, we're just gonna cut Ice out of this episode. No big deal. He over here on he's on his Teddy Riley today.
Damn.
He's not even. Go ahead, man. Go ahead, Rob. Look at this tapped out.
So they continue on the road. Now that it's out there that he's sick. He's getting weaker and weaker, and he's eventually just like, I'm not even gonna really be able to talk like pretty soon. As they're on the road, they spot like a bunch more of these dudes from that same dojo on the road below, and Rin's kind of just like, well, can't we just like sneak past them or something? He's like, no, they're gonna find us eventually. It's better we just nip this in the bud right now. Like, let's just do this. So the two of them actually team up on this one. Like, she goes down there, does her like little glittering bugs thing as a distraction while Kagehisa comes down, and we do get to see him fucking, wash a couple fools. This guy just goes hammers on these dudes and just like takes them out. And he's executing all these dudes on the road. And eventually they journey on and get to the next village. I'm sorry. There's a little thing in between this. We see, I think this is back in Edo. What I think is happening in this scene is the shogunate guy that that set up the whole thing with Kagehisa to make the Ido-Ryu legit is now seizing power over the Ido-Ryu now that Kagehisa is just like out in the wind. He's just out there in the wilderness somewhere. He's trying to consolidate power. Like, all right, well, I'm going to take over the school. And he's got like all the Ido-Ryu people on one side, the shogunate people on the other side, the one-armed dude that had killed Kagehisa's grandfather's there, and the shogunate's kind of just like, so like, what do you think about all this? What do you think about me taking power? And he's kind of like, man, if he couldn't hack it, then he couldn't hack it. He said he was going to be here on a certain day or something like that, and he's not here. So, I mean, if he couldn't make it, then that's just how the way the school works. Like it's it's survival of the fittest, and so he's down like for that. But meanwhile, the shogunate walks out of there. We get this cryptic moment between him and maybe another servant guy, somebody else that's in his party that he's just like, in a half an hour, this shit is going down. And we don't really find out what that is this episode, but maybe it's some, red wedding shit where he's about to like, we think it's a moment of peace, but he's about to like take out all these dudes at once. But back on the road, Kagehisa can't talk anymore at this point. He's got total lockjaw at this point from the tetanus. And he's like spelling out on Rin's hand, like, why won't you just kill me? And Rin is just like, well, honestly, you're not at your best. Like, I don't want to kill you when you're weak. Like, that doesn't mean anything. Like, then I'm just as bad as you were.
Fuck that. Go ahead.
Well, she even says, like, if you died from something that doesn't have to do with our beef, then honestly, I'd be kind of upset by that. So I got to make sure you get through this just so I can make sure I'm the one that kills you when you're at your best.
You could say this whole honor shit, but you don't have the skill level, and you haven't still been training to get the skill level to beat this guy. Take what you can get. Stop. You're being cocky here. All right, just as soon as he went to sleep, all right, right in the throat, cut that motherfucker. I'm out of here. I got the win, bitch, and I'm going home.
Yeah, it's a little bit. I mean, I know it's an honor thing. Like, she wants to but this isn't. Again, maybe it's because of The Last Dance. You know, it's not basketball where you're like, oh, I want to beat Michael Jordan at his best. This is a dude that killed your family, and your whole life is about killing this dude.
Where was the honor in that? Once you, and I was gonna say something and bring up somebody, but I don't even want to give him any pub. But like, once you don't show honor like that, what honor should I show you? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
if you would have showed honor and what he did to them, then that's different. You might have to live by that code. That code is broken. Fuck that shit. Like, if you having a great little speech, hey man, we just have lunch today. If I can get a ninja star right in your fucking eye from far distance, I'm going for it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really funny because the analogy I was about to, the saying I was going to say is an eye for an eye. And the whole world is blind. I'm just saying because the thing is, it's like, violence begets violence. And so I know, y'all gonna probably make fun of me for the statement or whatever, but, revenge doesn't actually ever do anything for anybody. And even in anime, like, people get revenge and they're never satisfied. It's just like that feeling of getting
How
revenge.
do we really know? This is anime. At the end of the day, but
No,
I
I'm
love
saying
anime. I didn't know somebody that ran out and got
you
revenge.
can get revenge, but it never brings those people back. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think it's ever about... I think with some people, it's not about bringing them back.
But I'm saying, but now you're creating that story for someone else. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like that happened to you because they killed that person. Now you're going to kill that person that somebody else is important to. Now they're going to come back. Yeah. So it's just violence begets violence. And so for me, it's like, I'm like, if something happened to me, I'm like, that's horrible. But please do not be vengeful to anybody because it can come back on you. And I cared about you. And so that's where I would say, if somebody maliciously murdered me, I'm putting it on record right now. I don't want anybody to go and get any kind of vengeance for me because it's not going to help anyone.
Literally what Rin's grandfather said to her, like, hey, if anybody ever comes for me someday, like, let it go. And she clearly cannot.
No, because he asked her a great question. She dedicated her whole life and gave up everything to go after these guys, to go after this guy. And he was even asked her, like, what you going to do after you kill me? And she was just like, I don't know. I'll be a hollow husk of a human being, I guess, because I literally have nothing else. This is it. It's just like, well, maybe you should have a family, and not let them be like you. So I'm just saying, like, that's all I'll say, Keenan. I see where you're coming from like
and I get where you're coming from too. I get it.
Yeah. An ideological standpoint. I mean, for me, it's like, I personally would say, like, if somebody killed somebody that I cared about a lot or did something horrible to them, I have a hard time imagining that I'll go out of my way to be vengeful to someone else. But if I'm sitting there eating lunch and a dude just walks up next to me and he just like says something, yeah, that's why I beat your sister's ass or whatever. I'm just like, all right, well, we're here. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to get the hands. But like, to go to the extreme effort that she's going through to kill somebody that she obviously can't kill and then won't even do it when she has the opportunity to do it when he's weak for some kind of warrior's privilege.
I don't think she really wants to kill him.
No, he's dope.
My theory.
He's dope. That's the problem.
But think about it. Think about it on the opposite end, though. Like, say somebody for instance, Brennan, you're a twin.
Yeah.
Say your brother goes and does something heinous. Somebody goes and kills him. The dude he did something heinous to. Are you gonna be like, okay, I get it. Like, he fucked up. Like, all right, I'm okay.
I'm not gonna be chill. I'm not gonna be chill about it. I'm gonna be hurt, but I'm not gonna like. You get what's coming to you, especially if you went and did something heinous. Like, you did something heinous. This is the risk you take. Like, yo, you messed up, bro.
That to me is different. and I know we got to move on in a second from this point, but that to me is just a little bit different. If you have somebody in your family that's like a flat out murderer, and they get murdered by somebody, I'm not gonna be jumping to be like, I gotta go murder somebody back. I'm gonna be like, bruh, we've been telling you to fucking chill for years,
Yeah.
and this is your lifestyle.
Would you be mad if somebody came at you and was like, "Hey, you got to atone for what Corey did. So, what's up?"
First of all, I try to talk out of it, and then once I see there's no talking out of it, I'm like, let's get at it. Let's get active. Let's go. Like at that point, now in my head, it's like, nigga, I'm going to kill you now. So that's the mindset I think at that point you have to be in, is kill to be killed at that point. But I would try to be like, hey man, look, this is the situation. I'm doing this. And if he's kind of like, well, that's how my family was. They were just being like, just like you. He did this to him. And I'd be like, well, and I will at least, I can be like, I can see where you're coming from. Let's get active then. Let's get it. That's immediate. But I guess I was raised different. Like I can turn a switch on and have to fight if I have to. And I can turn it off and be like, I don't want any problems too. If it's not that serious.
Right.
But anyway, so that's her reasoning, for not doing it at that time. And she goes off to, get some food for them. And she has a very Fu from Samurai Champloo moment, like just gets off on her own for like a minute and is like immediately kidnapped by these dudes that are looking for them. And they find Kagehisa where he's holed up, and they're just like, you're going to fight us or we're going to kill this girl. And she's like screaming for them to stop. If you attack him while he's weak, you're just as bad as he is. And in the middle of that, Manji shows up. He's just like, oh, like what looks like I showed up just in time. Like, what's going on here? And Rin is just like, Manji, kill these dudes. Kill these dudes.
Thick. Plot armor's so thick. I'm just saying, how many coincidences have happened in this show? Like, she's about to die or pass out, and then he finds her and gives her water. He's about to die. They're both about to get killed by a group of people. Yeah. And then he shows up. And then everybody else shows up.
But on like some level, you kind of have to have those moments. It's just you got to space them out a little bit, because if you don't have coincidence, there's no story.
I agree with that. I mean? But it's like coincidence after coincidence after coincidence after coincidence.
Yeah. Well, he shows up and he's just like, hey, like, what's going on? And she's like, kill these dudes. And he's saying, I mean, do you really want me to do that? Because are these guys Itoryu? Are these bad people? Like, it kind of goes back to what he was saying in the first episode. Like, are these really the kind of people you want me to be killing? And she's like, I don't know if they're good or bad people, but all I know is if you don't kill them now, like, they will kill me.
Yep.
And he's like, basically, that's all I needed to hear.
Yeah. Why do you just say yes?
Yeah. So he immediately is about to get in on it when, he's fighting a little bit when, a coin comes flying out of nowhere, and then it's Taito shows up and it's just like, Manji, here's your fucking money back. Like, I don't need that shit. Oh, hey, you're in a fight? Like, let me help out. And then, they're starting he's starting to help out. And one of the dudes just goes right for Kagehisa when his sword gets broken because the musician lady shows up. And she's just like, this is not happening on my watch. And a fight breaks out.
Not my baby. That's my baby.
And we see that, the hand is now like healed or whatever. The stitches are out. She can use her weapons. And the three of them team up to take on these dudes. And we mostly see her side of it. She's fucking people up. But after the dust settles, there's just one dude left. And it's the leader that had been there, and he charges at the musician lady. She cuts off his arm, and he's like, he's messed up at this point. Kagehisa's messed up. He's like, listen, like, I just came here to kill you, man. Let's just do this. What do you say? 1-on-1? Like, I got one arm, you're fucked up. We're kind of on even terms at this point. Let's just do this. And Kagehisa's fine with that. Rin gives him the sword back and is like, this is your sword. Do your thing. And as they clash, Rin borrows a page out of Manji's book, just like runs straight into the sword to takes the stab, and then uses that moment to run this guy through and get his victory. As the dust is settling, they're all kind of looking at each other like, all right, what do we do now? We're clearly enemies at this point, but the Itoryu is kind of like totally in upheaval at this point, because their whole power structure is being seized from Kagehisa, and Rin is basically just like, get your shit together and like get your people, and like once you have like you're back to full strength, then you deal with those other people that are taking your shit, I'll be waiting for you and I'll be there to kill you. I doubt it, but
Yeah.
that's what she says is gonna happen.
She be having them lines. I think it reminded me of the Kevin Hart joke when he was talking about his dad getting beat up. And, you know, his dad was like, you good? You just saying all of the stuff that's, like, not your line. Like, these aren't her lines. Like, you don't say these lines as the person that could have been killed the first episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so they go their separate ways, you know, just like, all right, next time we see each other, it's gonna be, you know, it's gonna be on site. So all right, well,
Hey,
travel well
Rob.
until then.
Hey, Rob out here with the on site. Yes, sir. I'm sorry. I love it. That's just okay. I'm sorry. As we were,
It's
my bad.
on site. The
On
fade
site, says
is
Rob.
going
It's
down.
on site, says Rob. All
It's
right.
been well documented that we've rubbed off on him.
You definitely have. But they go their separate ways. Manji gives Rin a piggyback because he's traveling. He's like, I'm just faster. But then they cut to credits and we'll see where we go from here. We're halfway through.
Okay. 8 through 12. Oh, 9 through 12. I'm sorry. Lead us off, Ice.
Is he Teddy?
I
thought you were Teddy Riley.
This stretch of episodes, huh?
I'm sorry. I thought you were Teddy Rileying us again. Go on.
No. I was just thinking, getting my thoughts together. For me, it's still trash. You know, I still feel the same way about it. I feel a lot of my points that I made initially throughout the show is the same. I feel like they aren't allocating the money that they should have. They put it in the wrong spots, especially when you talk about different torture scenes. It's like I can tell you damn near every torture scene. I can damn near tell you every fight scene just due to the fact that it was so few of them, not because they were anything memorable. I appreciate the story with Rin, and I appreciate like how they tried to build her up in the first episode of these four. But I still don't give a fuck about none of the characters involved. I still don't give a fuck about Manji, whatever his name is. The face dude, the Ty, I give somewhat about him. I wanted the Shira dude to die, but like all of these characters, and I think through this is. I know I talk about this a lot, but I think this anime really helped me understand like how important character development is and giving a fuck about characters. And if you can have some of the craziest fight scenes ever or some of the, you know, the best thing ever, but if I don't give a fuck about the characters, I don't care enough about anything else. And I feel like with this, it's like, if you're not going to have action and if you're not going to, we was talking about this in the chat about Death Note, like if you're not going to have something that just has a shit ton of action, blood going everywhere, heads going everywhere, the dopest fight scenes and sword fights you ever seen, then have me give a fuck about the characters. And for them to cut away and have all these pump fakes and then to follow that up with lack of character development, this show is a big L for me. So my total rating for this set of episodes is a 4,500.
Brennan?
The first episode I thought is really funny. I thought that was the most interesting episode out of all the episodes we watched so far. I just liked the story of it. Like it was just a good story, to be honest. Like I liked like getting through the gate. And I like how she had to play that part. And there's like a lot of backstory and it's like a hidden thing. Like that was probably the best told story as a succinct episode, standalone, that has happened. Like even the editing was different. I feel like there was a different director for that episode versus everything else that we've seen. I agree with Ice. Like, I don't care about any of the characters. Like, the character I cared about the most in these four stretch of episodes, the spiky-haired guy, who I honestly expected more out of, to be fully honest, in that fight. Like, I kept waiting for him to do something dope, and it just he kind of just, like, bumbled his way to the victory, is kind of what it felt like. And I still don't even understand. Yeah, the guy with the mask on. I still don't even understand, like, he got stabbed, like, right under his rib into his heart. And then tackled a guy 50 yards across the forest over a waterfall and didn't fall the wall over the...
People don't die. That's what pissed me off. Nobody's dying. Maiji might not be the only immortal person here. Like
I don't understand it. And then he did that. And after that, he's just standing there like the fight didn't even happen, brings himself back, treats his own wounds and says, I'm just going to sit here until they close up and we're good. And then we see him like an episode later throwing money at motherfuckers. Like, so I had a hard time with that. The congruency of the show, like sometimes it is realistic, like Keenan was saying, like it is real fights, and other times it's not. It's inconsistent. You know, it's almost like playing like a video game where you're just like every time you jump, you're at a different height. And you're like, these physics don't work. I can't play this game. That's kind of how I feel about this whole show. It's like it just doesn't work. And so I can't do that. I can't do that. All right. So I'm going to say that, Keenan, you are.
What are you about to do?
Don't worry about what I was about to do. I'm going to say, Keenan, you are definitely in the hot L zone right now. I hope the show does get better. I do. Chaz, if you're listening to this right now, you are a trash human being who recommended the show to Keenan. I don't even fully blame Keenan for picking this show. This is on Chaz. Keenan will listen to people when they give him a show recommendation. Keenan will watch that. And that's what I love about Keenan. Keenan's open-minded. Keenan's like, I'm going to watch it if you recommend it because I respect your opinion. And Chaz gave him some hot garbage. Please don't listen to Chaz anymore, Keenan. Chaz, we're going to bring Chaz on this show for the final episode of this, by the way. Because I need some answers, Sway. I need some answers. And so for me, that leaves me at a 45-50.
Rob?
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know how much more I can say that you guys already haven't said. I agree with Brennan that I thought this that first episode with Rin on her own is definitely a highlight of the series so far. I enjoyed these episodes, this stretch of episodes way more than last week's for sure. But there's just, for every bright spot, there's like 2 or 3 down spots that I'm like,
torture
scene.
Scene. Sorry.
Yeah, it's not, and the characters I'm interested in are like, the 3 characters I'm interested all walked off in the other direction at the end of the last episode. I want to see what those guys do. And like, if the next like rest of it, honestly, up until the last episode is them getting the Itoryu back and fighting the Shogunate. And then like Manji and Rin just show up at the end so they can like, I guess have that fight. I'm kind of cool with that. I don't know what Manji and Rin are going to do for now, you know, like, so I guess they're just going to chill for a while until he gets better and gets his life in order. I don't know. It's so I don't remember what I gave it because it's been a couple weeks, but like I said, I did enjoy it more than the week before.
I think you gave it like a
before
47 or 48 last time.
Really? Okay.
After sounding so fucking nice.
Yeah, you gave. I'm pretty sure. I'm not 100%, but I think you gave like a 4,700 last
Yeah,
time.
you did.
You
did a 40. It was a
2,000.
4,900.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. I remember you guys. To be honest, I think I'm probably going to do the same thing the opposite way. I'm going to give it a 5,500 this week.
Okay.
I'm gonna say that I think the more and more we've been doing the show, I think I've been trying to watch things differently, because even since Mobile Suit Iron Blood and Orphans, right? I think it probably started either right before then or right around then. That if I was grading that the way I normally grade, that shit would have got a low score. To be honest, it would have got like a total of a 4,000, some shit like that. But I started to
Really?
Iron Blooded Orphans would have got a 4,000?
4,000 to 5,000 tops. If I was watching it the way I was watching before. But at least from what I've been doing now, I've been trying to all right, watch and understand what they're doing and be just in this world and stop being like, well, in this anime, they do this, they do this better. I don't give a fuck about that. This is the world that we're in. So that's how I'm watching it. I'm watching it in this world specifically, right? So even when y'all talk about what's his name, the rape dude, what's his name with the little sun?
Shira,
right? It's
Yeah.
like Brennan goes, I'm going to give it a low rating because of this guy because he's such a bad person. Duh, nigga, he's supposed to be bad. They're trying to make him this type of person. They're trying to make him the most evil motherfucker on the planet, so you fucking hate him. It's like a good actor. It's like an actor when you watch a movie and he's like, I hate this motherfucker. I don't hate the movie because of him. Like, that means he did a good fucking job acting. If he made me hate him and really fucking hate him this much as a character, it's because...
I don't hate him as a character. I hate that somebody made him up. I hate that somebody would even have the imagination to put that into a character.
In all honesty, he probably ain't made up. You look at motherfucker. Have you just read cases about people just in life?
No, I mean I get that, but
how crazy people are. This shit is not made up. He's probably light onto some real shit when it comes to dark motherfuckers in life. So that's what I'm saying. In this particular world, that's how I'm watching it. I'm not watching it to try to compare it to everything anymore. Because the same with Paprika. I probably would have gave Paprika a lower score too than I gave it.
I haven't heard anything since you said that you would have given Iron Blood a 4,000, because it's just like that. That feels like it negated everything you said after that. But go ahead, try.
Well, no. What I'm saying is I would have, if I would have just watched it with how I watched it, I didn't grow as an observation. And to me, I still don't think Iron Blooded Orphans. Everybody says season 1 doesn't hold a candle to season 2. So it's like I don't think it's still as great as you said it was in season 1. So it's just our
I enjoyed
opinion on
season 1.
it was cool, but like for this in particular, that's how I look at it. I said at the beginning of the show when we found out about Manji how trash he was as a fighter, I said, I'm glad he's not good. Y'all were mad at that he wasn't. I'm just like, it's good. We finding out a fucking person that's not going to just destroy everybody so easily. He's having trouble. He's a trash fighter. And then we talked about the budget and how things are going with the torture scenes and stuff like that. I think the money that they put into some of the fight scenes still isn't that good because they don't have a good budget. But then also in talking to, I ended up talking to Chaz about it. From what he says is the back half of like the last, maybe I guess like 8 to 10 episodes or whatever it is. I think it's probably like 8 episodes. He says everybody, it gets 100% active in the sense of like the fighting. So I'm like, okay, at least so that might have changed. That probably kind of changed my
Man,
my
if you don't
view
just
on it.
give your rating,
Give me I'm making a point. At that particular point, it's like, okay, they clearly spent the money more on the back half of the anime from what's being said. So for me personally, watching these stretch of episodes, I really like these stretch of episodes a lot. I love Ren's story. Y'all said lack of character development. She had mad character development in this. The girl with the blonde hair had character development to me in it. I think Manji still, I'm not disagreeing with y'all. He ain't too good to me in the sense of like his character development.
Yeah.
I give it a 6,200.
What?
Yeah, I gave it a higher score the first episode. What are we waiting for?
He did.
All right,
That doesn't
bro.
shock me. No, I mean,
All
I
right,
get,
bro.
I get what you're saying, Keenan, and like I can see that. For me personally, Rin is just a little bit all over the place. Like she was great in that one episode, and then the last episode she was in, I just felt like she regressed as a character personally.
I didn't think so. I think she got stronger because it's like she's fighting a battle in her head like, I want to kill this motherfucker, but then I probably can't. But then even when I had the chance to when he's weak, is this really even it? Is this life? Is revenge really the answer for this shit? To me, that's growth and that's character development. That's just
Totally, and I can respect that, and I think the show ultimately, at least Rin's character arc, is it's a battle for her soul. Like, is she going to become like him? Like, that's essentially what her journey is. Is she going to give herself all the way over to revenge so she becomes just like this kind of guy? But the fact that she's like, no, like so hard, like I'm going to do whatever I have to get to this. And then like a few episodes later, she's like, oh my God, like let's take a break. Can we stop? I'm like, oh my God, like I thought like you were just like at all costs.
Yeah.
You know? So that's a little frustrating for me. Yeah. That's so I mean, she has her moments, but overall I'm just I just like more what they're doing with Kagehisa, Taito, and the lady who's the musician. I find them more interesting.
Well, yeah, they're my favorite characters are all the bad guys for sure. That's not even close. And here's the thing: I get what you guys are saying. I'm not battling you to try to convince you. I'm like I get you feeling the way you feel. I get you being like, well, and these particular points was here. I'm like I said, I'm just the way I'm seeing it and viewing it differently from the last few animes that we watched. I've just been trying to watch things in this space only and not trying to have a lot of comparisons and let anything kind of like influence maybe my world in this particular pick when we watch picks from now on.
For sure. No, I think that's the way to do it, honestly.
No,
I respect that.
Like so I don't, y'all giving it, I'm not like 4,500, how? I'm like, okay, I the point that you made, who am I to really fully fight you on it? I can see you saying that. Doesn't like I don't. Doesn't really.
You
bother.
see us saying it, but yet you give a score that's almost 2,000 more points than ours.
Yeah, just like I can see somebody saying something sucks.
it's exactly 2,000 points more.
Yeah, good math. I can see somebody saying something sucks, but I can still like something. It's the same thing. It's like somebody can say a rapper is trash to them, but I'll be like, well, I see the good in it, and I like this over here because I like it for this particular reason, for the turn up. But you think it's trash because you don't turn up. That's what are you talking about? That's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got 12 more episodes.
We got 12 more. At the end of the day, hey, y'all can give it the big L. I don't care. I might end up L'ing it at the end. Right now, my scores are what? 62 2 6,000s or something, and then like I think I gave it a 4,000 in one of them. So it's not the highest rank right now for me either.
Yeah.
Like I don't get it.
Yeah,
Y'all don't
you jump back up to a 6,200.
These episodes were good to me. Were way better than last week. Not even close. Y'all want me to be on y'all levels so bad. It's pissing you off. It's pissing you off. Not really Rob. Rob don't give a shit. But
no, I'm over here thinking that like I want to change my rating to just to 5,000 just because of how much I like that first episode. That's what I'm thinking right now.
I don't want you to. Don't.
I don't care. It has nothing to do with what you were saying. It's what I was saying. It actually has to do with what I said when I gave the rating. Is that first episode I actually did enjoy.
So you're gonna jump it up 500 points now?
Yeah, that was a really good episode. Just as a standalone by itself.
All right.
Now what?
Get the fuck out of here, man.
Brennan. That's bullshit.
Get the fuck out of here.
That's bullshit.
Okay. All right, y'all.
Stay down. So is it now? Is that your standalone for that? A 5,000 for sure.
What do you mean a standalone?
For these four, it's for sure 5,000.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with a 5.
Okay. All right. So I say having it. But anyways, let us know what y'all think in the comment section about Blades of Immortal. From what I've seen, a lot of people love this anime. It's getting a high rating across the board. Some people are upset that it doesn't follow the manga, but right now I think it's at a 4.5 out of 5 on Amazon, and a lot of other places rank it super high. So I'm interested to see the levels when we finish off with this, how it ends for all of us. Because maybe because from what I've seen when I was reading, everybody said the same thing y'all said. They said the first like 10 to 12 episodes they wasn't necessarily feeling, and then it turned up for them towards the end, and that's what made them like it a lot. So we'll see in these last 12.
We'll see.
So let us know what y'all think in the comment section. Y'all rating. Let us know if y'all fucking with me, fucking with them, or y'all in your whole other. If y'all have it in the 8,000s or 9,000s, which would be insane in that aspect.
You're fucking sick.
So, Rob, drop your stuff.
Yeah, I'm at RVDanger44 on Instagram.
Ice.McGowan.
At Mr. Producer Face on the gram.
I am Keenan Baker on every single thing. Make sure y'all subscribe to us on YouTube and get these subscribers up, man. We want to get to 10,000. We're at 1,000 right now, damn it. So we got a long way to go to help us get to 10,000. All right. Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Animeshun.